Join us, the Humanitarian Heartbeat Podcast, on a journey where we delve into the heart of the matters that truly make a difference. Our mission is to create a platform where we can openly discuss topics that often go unnoticed or unexplored. We aim to shed light on these crucial issues and have meaningful conversations. We invite you to tune into our podcast, where we will explore the depths of these subjects and let our hearts guide the conversation. Together, we can create a space where everyone's voice is heard and where we can collectively work towards a better future. Welcome, everyone, to the Humanitarian Heartbeat Podcast. I am your host, Nia Imani, and I have the pleasure of interviewing my beautiful friend and sister, Hayley. Hayley. Hey, Hayley.
Hi, I'm so happy to be here.
Thank you for joining us. Now, Hayley wears a lot of hats, but specifically why I'm interviewing her today is because she's part of a wonderful and impactful and life-saving organization, Touch, the Black Breast Cancer Alliance. I am going to read Hayley's bio, and we're going to get right into it, why it's important to learn about Black breast cancer. So my girl Hayley serves as the Director of Programs and Partnerships for Touch, the Black Breast Cancer Alliance. Touch is a nonprofit organization focusing on eradicating Black breast cancer. Hayley's goal is to bring the Touch programming to where all Black women live, work, play, pray, and slay through local community outreach and national events. She is currently focused on reaching young Black women and defining Black breast health. In combination with her teaching background and her passion for supporting blesties at all parts of their journey, Hayley plans to continue to educate, empower, and equip this amazing community to be the CEOs of their own health. Hayley, tell us about Touch. How did Touch come about?
Yeah, no, thank you so much. And I'm actually really excited to start this year with you. I feel like that's really fun and exciting. So thank you. And yeah, so Touch was founded by my mother. She is a blessee herself. Our co-founder is also a blessee, Valerie Worthy. But my mother, Ricky Fairley, got diagnosed with triple negative breast cancer 13 years ago. And I was 19. And so, large part why I work with young women in that pace is because it's like, one, I am in that world right now, but like as a 19-year-old, what are the things I wish I would have known then, to support her, things I should know about my own risk, all of that. And so, but Touch was founded because when my mom got sick, she went to go find research on Black women with triple negative breast cancer and breast cancer in general, and there just was not enough information. And the information that was there was incredibly scary. It was like, you're not going to make it, especially with triple negative, being that I think the survival rate at that point was 5 years. And so it was like, just all of these things pointed to a lack of hope, right? A lack of science. And so my mom saw that and said, we want to create a space where Black women do see hope and they do see community and they do see science that works for them, or someone at least working to create that science. Um, and so, under that umbrella, we now have a slew of programs. And to just round out that story, is my mom was given 2 years to live, and we're 13 years later. And so that's why I do this work. I come from a family that was been affected by breast cancer for multiple generations. I had a great aunt, grandmother, and mother that had breast cancer. My grandmother, still 91 and telling everybody what to do still. She actually got her breast cancer was actually found at stage 0. So she got really lucky, had a lumpectomy and was good. But my mom, on the other hand, she had 2 different rounds of chemo, 2 different rounds of radiation, um, the TAC combination of drugs that just like, is really, really hard on your body, as well as a double mastectomy and all of that. And at this point, I'm really proud to say that my sister has had a prophylactic mastectomy to alleviate her risk of breast cancer. And so it's really cool to see how our whole family takes this on and is a part of this work, because my sister's raising three Black daughters, and so we see every day what our work can do for our own family and what it can do for our whole community. Um, but at Touch, because of this, we have so many different programs to kind of really tackle Black breast cancer. And so to give some numbers, because we have to ground ourselves in that and be data driven in that way, is that Black women have a 41 higher percent mortality rate
Wow.
than white women. And we have a 39 higher percent recurrence rate. So we're most likely gonna get it back, especially with triple negative, it's one that you often get back. Um, and so and so my mom saw those numbers and said, like, what's going on here? Right? Why is this the case? And we went to look at, the science behind it. And it was like, why aren't the medicines working? If because our incident rate is the same as white women. We
Right.
get it at the same rate, yet we're dying at a 41 higher percent rate. So people get it. We can't really go into why that is yet, right? But we can say that at the point of getting it,
Mhm.
why am I now going to die? The medicines aren't working. They can't be. And so we create a campaign called When We Trial, which has been an amazing campaign to really get Black people and I say Black people because we know that Black women are making the household decisions about health. And so we reach Black women, but through that we reach Black people. And so it's really important to think about all the misconceptions around clinical trials, right? Um, it is not a last resort option. It is something that you can do at any point in your journey because you want to get the best drugs that are available. And they technically, think about it this way. This is how I've kind of been thinking about it myself.
Uh-huh.
Every drug that we take, we're in a clinical trial. So it's really about whether or not you want this information to be recorded or not,
Mm,
right? Because every drug
100%.
that we take was not tested in our bodies.
Right.
And so better to be a part of that process and that science so we can have more medicines for future generations, because literally everything that we do is basically clinical trial. The way that I might, the way that my hand interacts with the thing that dispenses water in the bathroom,
Wow.
right? Like that alone has not had enough trials with Black people. Have you ever move your hand and the water's coming out? It's because those things were not tested on melanated skin.
That is
Like,
deep. I never
right?
even thought about that.
That's why you're over here going like this in the bathroom, because you're trying to wash your hands.
Wait, time out. Rewind. You just opened up a can of worms. Every time I do this,
I'm telling you, that's
it is
why.
because my skin's darker than yours.
Yes, yes. Because again, things were not, when people run tests to make sure things work in the community, are Black people involved in that process?
Wow,
No.
Haley, that is so true.
Right? And so it's like all the answers that we are looking for, that's like right there, that we weren't a part of that process to develop these things. And so we try to educate Black women on how they can be the part of the process so we can have medicines that work for us. And so we've now signed up over 20,000 Black women for clinical trial portals. That doesn't mean they're in trials, but it does mean that we've changed the mindset to get them thinking about trials in a more intentional way.
20, because you said that fast.
Yeah,
20,000?
Black women into clinical trial portals. And so we now have our own portal through our When We Trial campaign. The When We Trial campaign also has an education program online. It has an HCP education program that is separate. So definitely want to get that out there because that's a newer thing.
Mhm.
Um, and so we're really about changing that mindset around it, because we've been told you can't do clinical trials. We understand historically why, right? But that's not the case anymore. There are things in place to make sure that these things are safe. And then with Touch, we also have Touch Care. So we have a whole program designed to keep you to not only get you into a trial, but keep you in it by giving you nurse navigation from a Black woman who's a nurse and also a survivor herself. And so that is what we're doing. Also, so with Touch Care, we also then recently this year, integrated um Unite for Her. So now you also get Unite for Her's package, right? So you get integrative services, you get the Reiki and the yoga and the fresh groceries that, we love Unite for Her and everything they do. So like combining us with the right partners, we're able to provide services for Black women. And so that campaign has just been an amazing thing, and came out of a research study of we've actually published this research study now, so that's cool. We have a whole manuscript. So and then also just like focus groups on focus group on focus group, because everything we do is based in the community in that way. And so it's been a really fun project, and we've kind of modeled all of our other programs off of how we started that one.
That is, I mean, you guys are saving lives. Now, I just want to go back a little bit. What did it feel like to be 19 years old? Because we're older now. So to hear 19, that's so young. To be 19 years old and to hear your mom was diagnosed with breast cancer and to hear she did not have that long to live. How did that feel?
Yeah, so like many Black women, my mom had a really hard time, I think, divulging how serious it was.
Mm.
But yeah, so I was in college. Um, my mom dropped me off um at school. And well, let me go back a little bit actually. So, um, so I was traveling abroad, came home, and um my mom and I had all of our appointments at one time. So we had like a week where we did the gynecologist, the dentist, all the things. So we did all of them together during that week. I was home in between traveling abroad and going back to school. And that was when, we went to get our pap smears, and the doctor does our very our clinical breast exams, and they found a lump.
Mm.
And so I quickly was like, I'm not going back to school until I have more information. So we like quickly, as fast as we could, got her in for a biopsy, did all of that. And at that point, she was told that she actually dropped me off, went back to the airport, and then called me and was like, that's when she got the news that she
Wow.
was um had breast cancer. At this point, there was no um there was no like time limit on life given. But also didn't really know how bad it was, because I don't think we even understood that triple negative is not triple anything. Like it's not good, like. And for those of you who don't know, triple negative means that there are three different ways to get into a breast cancer cell. Um, Most of them have to do with your hormones. I think maybe they all do. And triple negative means that you don't have any of those three ways to get into the cell. And so you're just kind of shooting from the hip with the medicines that you're trying, because it's really hard. There's no targeted treatment. Um, and so that's why it's so hard to deal with. And so, after that, I was at school for the next 3 months, kind of like obviously very worried, but my mom had a hard time being, wearing her, her cape and her crown, not being able to share, or not really knowing how to share that she might be in need of help, you know? When I came home from school, she had a double mastectomy and actually got a really bad, like, a bacterial infection. And so I couldn't even, they were afraid to even like let me into her bedroom, coming from, a school of thousands of kids and the airport and all the things, to like see her, because I was covered in germs. Like I had to like shower before I could even hug my mom. Um, and At that point, I realized how like this was much more serious than I had thought.
Mhm.
Obviously, too, because at this point, like my grandmother had breast cancer. She, was fine, lived, still here now. Like I don't think I knew how serious it could be.
Mhm.
You know, At that point, I took off time from school to be home with her that winter, to do the chemo and do the things. And luckily, my school was on quarter, so I was able to do that easily and still like graduate on time because um, after that round of chemo radiation, she was fine.
Wow.
And then to the day, like to the day, a year later after her diagnosis, she was back in the hospital. The cancer was back. They found 5 spots on her chest wall at this point because they'd removed her boobs.
Wow, right.
And so then it's now it's on her chest wall. And she uh that's when they were like, you got 2 years to live, like get your affairs in order type thing. And so again, I was able to take off another term of school to go through that treatment plan. And my mom and I really tried to make it as cool as we could. But we were already really close, but like she didn't want to wear wigs, so we built a hat collection. Like we tried to like really make it our own experience and not always feel so negative about it. We started doing Susan G. Komen 3-day walks in San Diego. I only do San Diego ones because the weather's nice, and if I'm gonna have to walk 60 miles or 3 days, I better be by a beach. Uh, but it was I look back and I think that I don't think I understood how serious it was, especially now that I'm in this work now. I see so much of this. But it was definitely scary. I watched a lot of Grey's Anatomy thinking that that would give me some semblance of anything, which is not the case, but it comforted me anyways. I found Netflix, basically during this time. Um, but it really truly has driven the next campaign that I really want to discuss, the one that you're repping so beautifully today. Yes, because I thought to myself, why weren't the doctors looking at me and my sister there being like, you should get genetic testing, you should do your breast exams every month, you should do all these things while I'm in there with my mom, right? And it's crazy too, because we were at Kaiser at the time in Atlanta,
Mhm.
which every black nurse, the nurse at Kaiser is a black nurse. So I was like, why are these black nurses knowing to even tell me this information? Why is there such a big gap between what I could be doing now to impede this from happening?
Mhm.
And so, you know, I uh we starved for love of my girls. So for this, in the same way that we starved when we trial, we did some research, and black women under 35 get breast cancer at 2 times the rate and die at 3 times the rate of white women, which is crazy because we've been also told this is an old lady disease, and that's clearly not the case. Um, and that's some for us to all be clear of. Cancers are all getting younger. I can't even say breast is the only one. Like
Correct.
it's a problem. And I'm sure you see that because are pan cancer in that way. So you serve so many people, and so like it's really a thing.
Mhm.
To think about why that's the case, and we can't find the why, but we can try to think about what we can do in the meantime.
Absolutely.
Because why is not my expertise, but like the how we can impede it. I know there are things that we can do. And so for love of my girls started, and similar again to when we trial, has a whole young women's advisory board. Thank you for being on it, and thank you for being such an active member. Because again, it has to be rooted in where young black women are, and if we're gonna go where where black women live, work, play, pray, and slay, I gotta know where that is. And so that's why we have these boards and we have these people that can contributing to it. And so for Love of My Girls has three main, calls to action, which are to believe that Black breast health is real,
Mm,
right? If Black breast cancer is real, which I'll dive into why that is in a second, then so is Black breast health. And
mm,
then to unlock our her story. If we know our family shared health history, then we're going to already have so much more information about that. And again, our worksheet for that goes bigger than just breast cancer. It talks about things that are happening in Black families that we should be aware of, including diabetes and hypertension, including, you know, uh, male breast cancer and the things that are risk for breast cancer, including cervical, um, ovarian, all of that. And then the last part is getting to know your girls and teach young women how to do those self exams monthly, the week after their period, and build into your routine. So it's this thing that you like do with your friends. I mean, I know all my friends in college, we were all synced up anyways in our period. So
so true.
you know what I'm saying? Like we're all in the same, like my dance team, we're all the same cycle anyways. Even if I work with, I don't even see them every day. We're on the same cycle, you know, like whatever. And so you and I might be on the same cycle. Who knows? And so it's like we can build routine around these things. And why I say Black breast cancer is real is that we've actually been doing research out of with a researcher out of Morehouse, Dr. Melissa Davis, and she has found literal research that proves the Black breast cancer cell is different from the white breast cancer cell. You can look at them on a, you know, on all of their fun technology that I can never name, and and literally see that it's different. And
Wow.
so when you think about why the medicines aren't working, it's like no wonder it wasn't tried on this cell or this kind of black cell. You know, just kind of makes sense as to why we don't have the answers when you realize that we never tried to find the answers yet. We haven't even tried yet. And so now we're in that part of trying finally, getting Black women invested in these processes and being a part of the science. Um, and so you know, so again, Black breast cancer is real, and so is Black breast health. So very, very important to, you know, continue to get young women to do that. So as you know, I've been traveling around to HBCUs, festivals, and concerts to make sure that young Black women are getting this information. We have really fun swag and things that we share um, to get this information out. And by nature, you know, because we try to be iconic at Touch in our approach,
Mhm.
we don't go to the health fair. We go to where Black women are. So I'm at hair shows,
Yep.
I'm at churches, I'm at again HBCUs, I'm at Essence, I'm on the Vineyard, I'm doing all these things where Black women are, so we can really make a difference. And we also partner with the Bexa Equity Alliance when we can to bring breast cancer screening right on the spot. And, you know, I know that you've been doing that as well because it feels so good to be like, there was an actionable step taken today because those of us who are invested in those monthly exams are going to be invested in that annual screening.
Right, right.
Right? And so, and just, you know, for full transparency, like I had my first mammogram in August, all good. I felt really good doing that. And so like, and I'm 32. So for those of you who think that's like young or whatever, like that is where I feel comfortable doing, given my family history. Um, and had to go through a little of an insurance battle on that one, but like worked it out because again, if you can prove with your Her Story worksheet that you have a long family history, then you can have information to say, hey, no, I need this screening. And so my next battle, and I do say battle because it's like I can't change these things, is I do have dense breast. That was my learning there, which I was not surprised to know because most Black women do have dense breasts. It's actually an honor to have dense breasts because it means that we have more muscle than fat.
True.
But it means that's, you know, that's all it means. And, you know, but that means that the technology isn't meant for our dense breasts. So we have to get the right kind of screening. And that includes, you know, an MRI, an ultrasound, a more in-depth version of that because the mammogram technology is just not, the 2D mammogram technology is not there. So you want to get 3D mammography, MRIs, ultrasounds. So my next step is to make an ultrasound appointment because I would like to, the screening that I feel comfortable with is an annual mammogram, and that 6 months later get that ultrasound and having two screenings a year. Because again, I want to be on top of it in a way that like I don't know that I knew that at 19, but now at 32 and now in you know this part of life. Also, I'm not going to go tell people to do these things, not do them myself. I'm trying to hold myself accountable. And so but yeah, and so it has been a fun way to engage young Black women with this information. And it's been really, really important work. So I'm happy to do it, and I'm happy to see all that we've been doing at Tuck because we really have been moving and grooving out here.
Yeah, literally saving lives. Now, you keep emphasizing, and you sort of mentioned it too, but I just want to lay it plain. Black breast cancer.
Yeah,
Black, black, black. What
yeah.
about if someone says, well, I had breast cancer and I'm white. I had breast cancer and I am Asian. Can I not get help? Or, I think
Yeah.
some people hone in on the black breast cancer and they want to know why. Why black breast cancer.
Totally. And I think it's really important to like see it as it's very similar to Black Lives Matter, right? That does not mean that other lives don't matter, right? It just means that someone else has been focusing on those lives and we want to focus on these
Mhm.
lives for a second. You know what I mean? And that's what that means. I mean, like, it's I saw somebody say like if someone says like save the rainforest, we're not out here like, oh, but like save the trees over here too. You know what I mean? Like, no, you want to say save the rainforest.
It's true.
Okay.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, I think about it like that. And like the reality is, if you are, of color, not black, think about go do the research for your demographic.
Mm,
Probably in a very similar boat in terms of have your cells been tested on the same way? So I would encourage anyone to start being a part of the science that way. We want a diverse population to have medicines that work for everyone, right? Like that is the point. Think about I think about like HIV, right? The reason why those drugs work on everyone is because when people needed them, it wasn't about this or that. Like
yep.
everyone was part of the trials,
Yep.
all colors. That's why you have medicines that work for all people in that way. And so, yeah, it's just really, really important to like, you know, not get locked in on these things because one, all everything that we say is universal. Everyone should be doing it. And when I say like drink in moderation because that's alcohol and breast cancer risk, like
Yeah.
everyone should do that. Like it's not, you know what I mean? Like, yes, I focus on Black women because that's my target demographic, but our things are universal.
Mhm.
Everything we create is universal information, you
I love
know?
that.
Um, and that's just, again, our focus will always be Black women, yet our tools can be used anywhere they can be used for. Um, and it's interesting that I say that because we are now trying to think about how our clinical trial work can translate to other communities. Like
Interesting.
I think so much about, making sure we reach the trans community who's been testing on those bodies.
Correct.
I think about um other disease states in
Mhm.
general, you
Mhm.
know? And so we actually are going to hopefully provide touch care to other disease states soon as well, because we want to advance the science for Black people. That is the goal. And so, and again, because that goal takes a long time, For Love of My Girls is kind of that in between to catch you now because we want you to have resources as somebody who's not yet been affected by disease as well, to prevent more disease. So
Yeah.
that's the goal. And The Love of My Girl is about finding it early, right? Because like we don't have anything to prevent the disease, but we can find it early. Um, and 80% of abnormalities are found by self exams.
Yeah.
It's not anything crazy. It's not those annual mammogram stuff. It's by those monthly self exams and knowing you're normal. And so that if you had something that was abnormal, you'd notice it because
Mhm.
you're not looking for anything in particular. You're just looking to know your body. And I think that should start at puberty, right? When the boobs come in,
Absolutely.
you know, when you're already having these bodily changes and things and asking people around you, like, what's going on here? Like, I remember before I had any boobs, I thought I had four boobs because I thought my ribs were another set. And so, like, and then my dog had multiple boobs. So I was, I was like, oh, this is normal, and then, but like weird things are happening.
Right.
Question. And so,
You're right.
and so might as well take these moments that could feel awkward and make them educational, right? And so just to list some of the resources, because I'm like super partner oriented.
Yes.
If you are someone that's looking for um or wants to know how to do their self-breast exams, obviously go loveofmygirls.org, but also YSC's Tick Check. And then if you do want to know the signs of breast cancer, not so that you look for them, but more so that you like if something were when we notice it, what those things are, go to Know Your Lemons because they have the great resources there as well. And so, yeah.
Hayley, you guys are literally saving lives from infancy to people who are 200 years old.
Yeah.
in all the advocacy work that you have done, and this is probably hard to name one or two, and I know you have heard some stories of thank you so much, you saved my life, or I did not know this. What are some stories that you may share that, are on top
Yeah,
of your head where you're like, you know what, I'm grateful that I'm in this work?
totally. No, there's the cool thing is truly is that now I've been in this work for, which is crazy that this is my third year.
Mhm.
And so it's been fun to do some of the same events every year and now be a staple of this event, right? So one of them that we do in DC is called Ubiquitous, and I love the woman who runs it. Her name is Jermaine, and Kathy, who is her like partner in crime there. They run this amazing event. It's this giant hair and beauty show for Black women in DC, or in the Maryland area. Um, and it just has the best vendors. I'm looking at a bag right now that I bought there last year. Like, it's just the best. They have gospel, they have dance, they have all these components, and we come there and they allow us to provide breast exams.
Mhm.
So for the past 2 years, I guess no, three, last 3 years we provided breast exams there. The first year we did it with the Breast Care for Washington, which is an amazing facility for in the DMV area. You need breast health stuff, go there. That my mammogram was painless, okay, painless. I thought my small boobs were gonna get squished and be a whole thing, but it was fine. Literally, it was fine. And so Dr. Regina, whatever she's teaching them, it was working.
Uh-huh.
Um, but then following 2 years, she bought Bexa Equity Alliance to give their breast exams. And I guess so a year and a half ago, um, a set of twins came and um and one of them got her breast exam, right? Everything was fine, but we gave them bags to take home. And I think she saw the bag out of the corner of her eye in her bedroom a couple months later, and something just told her to pursue and look in this bag. And so she went in, got a mammogram, in fact, did have breast cancer.
Wow.
The doctor is a couple months after this a couple months after I interacted with this woman, right? Which is this cool that like I gave you something like lived in your home and then something brought you to that look for those resources and you had them already on deck. Um, and then the doctor, had asked about her family history, blah, blah, and she then gets into the fact that she does have a twin sister. The twin sister also had breast cancer.
Shut up, Haley.
I'm serious.
Wow.
Yes. And so it was just like it was this moment of like it's you want to have these high impact moments at events and things like that. And some events are, I think I've learned to define it as impact or outreach is like I gave you back an event, right? Engagement is I built a relationship with you.
Mhm.
And so this is proof of of outreach because all I did was give her a bag and she then saw it later and had this moment. Um, but so that's like a moment where I was like, gosh, how cool is that? That like when you were in need, the resources were already in your house,
Mhm.
you
Mhm.
know? And so that was really, really cool for me to see. And then it was like, again, because we have this element of family that we talk about, she immediately got to talk to her sister about it. And again, she was sick as well. And so um yeah, so that was really, really cool. And so now it's cool again to go to that every year and have the same people return because they know we're doing breast exams at these events,
Mhm.
you know. And it's really fun to see the people that are expecting me to be on the vineyard this next year because we were there last year, right? And this past year on the vineyard we scanned I think about 54 women at our we did breast cancer screening at our rented a house on a road where you can't go from the town to the beach without passing me. And then I
Amazing.
decked out the house with stuff, kept it really casual, and did breast exams in our little side porch area.
Uh-huh.
We
Uh-huh.
covered it whatever, so it was private, and we scanned over 54 women and we found three cancers.
Wow.
And although you don't want to ruin someone's vacation, it's also like,
You're saving their life.
yeah, and it's also like, why not? Um, God forbid you be late to the beach. You know what I mean? So like come get your boobs scanned
Yeah.
while you're on vacation. And you know me, I made bathing suits, all the things so you can make it fun. And we gave you a little thing of champagne afterwards, made it cute, and so but it's been really, really cool to know that we're making that difference with our partners, with our people. It's been really, really cool for love of my girls to um, you know, be on a larger stage, partnering with the WNBA and having some really, really cool events that we're going to and being a part of. We did the NFL Wives Conference and things like that, and just making people aware of how important this is.
Mhm.
Um, it's just been really, really cool. And so I'm excited for what we have going on. I'm excited for what we're doing. And I just know that I never thought I'd be like in this space. I was a teacher before this, so like always community servant in some capacity. But this one feels like at a larger, I have a bigger impact, and it feels really, really cool to take all those learnings as a teacher. And now I make worksheets about boobs. It's great.
And I can tell that, I mean, I'm sure everybody that listens to this and watches know before you even said your teacher, they're like, oh, yeah, she's an educator. Because
Yeah,
the way that you break things down, it's so relatable.
yeah,
And it makes it, I'm not saying breast cancer is not scary, but the way that touch and for the love of my girl speaks on it, it sort of takes the sting out of it. Like,
yeah. And
it just
and I think we really got inspired. You that from Dr. Mo, which we all know and love,
love.
because yeah, she's just the best, and the way that she describes things is so relatable. And my mom has a new good one. This is her new one. When we talk about clinical trials,
Uh-huh.
like she's like, if I asked you, I don't even know what iPhone this is that I have here, but it's like when you think about clinical trials, it's like, do you want the iPhone 15 or the iPhone 52?
Right,
You
right,
know,
right, right, right.
like it's like you have the chance to get the best technology, you're gonna get it. You don't want the iPhone 11 when you can have the 52.
You don't want the flip phone.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
That's
yeah, and
so
so like, if you,
true.
if you think about the things you're willing to invest in, we're willing to invest in having the best technology or having the best, the highly most best functioning car, or I know that I'm like a weird headphones person, so I'm like, oh, I want those new headphones, whatever. And so it's like, yeah, but again, another relatable way to talk about this and to talk about, make sure we're taking care of ourselves.
I love that. I love that. What is going on in 2025 and beyond for touch?
So
What can
many
we
things.
expect?
I'm so glad you asked. um so this is Touch's fifth year in existence. And so, right, and to think that we've done a lot in 5 years. I know.
That's why I'm like, time out. What?
I know, and to think I only named two of our programs because we have like seven more because my mom is, crazy pants, and so she's like, "Oh, there's a gap. I'm gonna fill it."
Yes.
We have so many programs that we run, and I can kind of get into that as I talk about 2025. But so we have our 5 year anniversary coming in May. So put it on your calendar, boo, because we are having a party. Similar to not a wedding, it is not a gala.
I love it.
Because we don't do it. And for those of you who don't know, my wedding was called Not a Wedding, which we did breast cancer screening there as well.
Yes.
Because again, we're back on the live, work, play, pray, and slay. And while my family was in one spot, it's like, yep, get a screening, get a screening, you get a screening, you get a screening. So, but so for our 5 year anniversary, we are doing a weekend, a 2 day long experience. It will have dance components, of course. It will have gospel components. It will have, our usual panels to talk about the things that are important, a chance for all of our partners to be vendors and share what they're doing. But yeah, so we're in the midst of planning that. That'll be in May. So everyone get on your calendars. We're thinking Cinco de Mayo weekend. So,
Boy, be in.
yes, right. I'm just like, let's get some, I'm doing tacos for dinner tonight, but let's do tacos for that too, because love me a taco. Um, and then we are doing a big activation on Martha's Vineyard in August as well. So last year we did a week. This year we're going back for 2 weeks. We're gonna double the amount of screening we do. We are going to post up on a house, similar in a similar location where people can pass and come chill. We're gonna do 6 days of programming. It's not gonna be all breast. We're gonna have a men's health day, a family health day, a Black Cancer Day. So we're gonna get into all the other Black cancers as well, the cancers that affect Black people. So pancreatic, prostate. Um, we have Laura Cran from Touch for Life. They're one of their Black Jeans Matters party. We're just really bring all of our partners together and figure out how we can all share this space over 2 weeks. I have a live-in DJ coming, so we're just gonna be partying and like talking about boobs, talking about health in a really fun way for that 2 week period. So that'll be a bigger activation. And then, we're gonna be at Bird Cancer Foundation events. We're going to be Unite for Her events. We're going to be all of our partner events as per usual, to make sure that we are, just still doing our community work. And I think we're really going for high impact moments over the next year to make sure we're really diving in. And so some of the programs I haven't mentioned yet are Sambai is our program in Africa. It's actually out of a Grand Cancer Challenge. So we're doing research in 7 different countries, 5 of which are African countries,
Wow.
with Dr. Melissa Davis. That is the Sambai Project. And so we're creating what we have here, there, essentially. And what we have here is really founded in our program, not founded in, but has a lot to do with our program, Belong. Our Belong is a program that stands for Blessies Empowering Leadership, Empowerment, and Nurturing Growth, or something like that. Yes. I'm not the writer. We have a fantastic writer on the team. Um, but um, but yeah, so belong is our way of also making sure that we're not just popping into a community for a weekend and then bouncing,
Right.
right? It's important to make sure that like when I'm in Chicago, I'm working with sisters working it out. When I'm in Atlanta, I'm working with My Style Matters. When I'm in Philly, I'm with working with a Bird Cancer Foundation. I'm working with Unite for Her, because there are people who are everywhere like us, but there are people who are like literally like holding people's hair while they throw up, picking up people's kids, and doing that groundwork every day. And so we partner with them in every city we're in. We also provide them with the best education that we can, given our medical advisory board and the resources that we have. And so those are 2 programs that are my partner in crime, Uza, oversees. And then we have our Black TNBC work. So that just took off this past fall. We have a new website, our Black TNBC Sanctuary for all the blesties. And that's a fun project too, because I don't know if you noticed and you looked at it, because I'm sure you have, because you are like, I love how much you're involved in all the things, and like you bring your touch earrings. It's great. You're such a great supporter. You're like, I'm like, thanks, mom. Um, but I love you for it always. But that website was fun because I sent photographers all around to these blessees houses to take pictures. So we have no stock of photography. It is all women in our community in every picture on that website
And
that we do.
who can say that?
Right. Yeah, no, it's and there's a cute picture of my mom and Dr. Mo like hugging too. It's just so good. And so it's Deltra and her daughters, it's Latoya and her family. It's just us, you know. Um, and so it's been really cool to figure out how to do this work that makes sense to us. It is like I love when Tia Tomlin always she says FUBU, for us by us, right? And I love the like I was like, should I start wearing FUBU more?
We might have to bring it back.
I think we're bringing it back.
Just Hayley, you guys are literally saving lives. And first of all, it's wild that only 5 years, and you take it from genetics, clinical trials. I mean, family oriented, girlfriend oriented, trans. I mean, you, mom, touch for Love My Girls have literally looked at every slice and said, this is how we need to literally save lives. You're not just saying it, you're doing the work.
Yeah, and I think we are doing the work, and I think that we put a lot of energy into finding a fun way to do it, you know? And that's why it's I mean, I don't even know if that's the energy part that we just like, oh, like I wake up today, I was like, I want to wear a bathing suit. Let me make a bathing suit, you know, like
Right.
and so it's like, but I think we do lean on our personal lives and our experiences create those ideas, and it's been really rewarding to and it makes the work fun, you know, and it takes off because like you said, breast cancer is scary, and yet it's a reality in our lives. And so the more that we can do to make it not scary, the more we can do to provide resources so that because the scary part is it just looks like you're walking in a dark room, right? But if we can crack that door a little bit by having a little bit of light, then it's like, oh gosh, maybe I can find my way out.
Wow. Great. You and these analogies, that makes so much sense.
Yeah,
And I'm sure what also drives you too is not only your mom, not only your family, but the ones who have become family or the ones that you've worked with and are no longer here.
totally. I mean, um, and I do think it's important to acknowledge, and I hope that 2025, you know, I think we can all come with energy of 2024 was rough for our community. It was a rough year. I mean, you and I have talked about moments of, you know, like, gosh, it's been a rough year for us. We lost a lot of really, really strong advocates, lost a lot of people who never knew to advocate. You know, we lost a lot of people who who didn't deserve that to be their story, you know? The some of the best people that I can say that I've met in this work. And it is driving me to do this every day. And it does make, you know, the work that much more meaningful because um you know, the last thing I would want to not I last thing I want to do is not honor the women who have helped us get here. Um, and I mean, I have to mention Sheila's name in this moment because that's, you know, someone who I met on my first day of work at Touch.
Mhm.
And when she passed, I was in the city where I met her, and it felt actually, and I was with Dr. Mo too, and we were in New Orleans, and we did a second line in her honor,
Wow.
because it felt um, weirdly there was some synergy there,
Mhm.
um, but it felt so important. The work felt so if I didn't know what I was doing before, now I do, you know, kind of thing. And so I feel really honored to be able to share you know, what she did because she was someone who got an extra, I think 5 years off of clinical trials.
Wow.
And so I think about her daughter who's our age, you know, who like got 5 more years. But you know why that one's important? Sheila lost her mother when she was in her 30s to breast cancer. And now her daughter has lost her mother in her 30s to breast cancer. That's not okay.
At all, because I can't imagine. So,
It's not okay that in that one family, we have not moved fast enough for that to happen. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's crazy.
right.
And so it makes me feel really, you know, at first aggravated and frustrated, but then invigorated and, you know, excited to do the work because it's now a goal to make sure that that family does not have to deal with that ever again.
Stops.
You know, that it stops here. And so, and that's why we're doing this, you know, and I think about, yeah, I have so many people that I would refer to as a sister, including you know, in this work that we have created a family. And it's fun to go to like some of these conferences and nice to see everybody or like, you know, chop it up because we have because we are, you know, rooted in the same mission. But I think all in all, we're talking about longer Black lives, you know, and more birthdays and more graduations and more babies being born and all of that, you know. And I think the more we can do to create more of that, then like why wouldn't I get up every day, you know?
That and that's also a testament to what Touch has done, has built that community. that there's no competition. Okay, touch, you do this. Okay, still rise this. Okay, touch for life. Okay, Bert, it's this beautiful community where our goal is eradicate cancer, period. But
Yeah.
there's strengths in each organization, and it's a testament to what Touch has done and is doing in bringing together so many partners and so many communities.
Well, it's like, don't you want, like, I was just at the doctor today and I was like, and she said something and I was like, um, oh, she we're talking about vaccines. Going to Ghana soon, we're talking about all the things and whatever. And she was like, no, I'm very pro vaccine. I was like, I'm pro what doctors say. Like, I'm not gonna pretend I'm better than the doctor. Don't you want experts doing all the things they're experts at? Like, I'm not gonna do. If someone comes to me about genetics, I'm gonna call Laura Crandon because I know she's doing genetics. You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna. That's her expertise. I want experts doing my thing. I don't want. It's like, do you want like the 5-star restaurant or the three? I want the 5-star restaurant. You know what I'm saying? Like, you
Six
want.
star.
You know what I mean? But you want experts doing their job,
Absolutely.
And so like we have really become, I would say, experts in reaching Black women, but that doesn't mean that we're experts in every piece of this. Like if I want to know about healthy products, I'm like Tia Tomlin, what's up? Because I want to go to My Style Matters. I want to go to people who have focused on that because her whole journey that she changed what she put in her body and on her body, and she's still here. And she looked great. She was on Good Morning America last month. Like, it's like, and so, you see these people, and you see people doing they're being the best what they do. And I want to access that.
Mhm.
Um, a phrase I think I told you that I love and have been trying to utilize in my language is like, it's not about reinventing the wheels, but adding gold rims to it.
Mm.
Right. And it's like, right? That one's so good, right? But it's so true. It's like I don't want to try something new if it's already done. I want to literally like how can we complement and make it better and add to it, It's all about adding here. And yeah.
Hayley, where can people get in contact with you, Miss Ricky, Touch? Because I know they're saying I need the worksheet, I need to know about genetic, I need a clinical trials. I need y'all at my event for
Yeah,
clinical for breast exams. Where can they reach y'all?
totally. So um literally go to the touchbbca.org website. There you can it's a catch-all for everything. If you want more specifics, we have our 1 week trial website. That's at whenwetrial.org. And then loveofmygirls.org, which is GURLS. Um, and that's actually being revamped soon. So get ready for a little Galentine's Day release. That'll be cute. And then we also are on social media. Our Instagrams are Touch BBCA and at Love of My Girls, again, GURLS. We are on TikTok as well, Love of My Girls. We're working on that one because TikTok goes over my head, but we're gonna get there because Black women are there and that's where they live, work, play, pray, and slay. Um, and yeah, and so we have the tnbcsanctuary.org as well. That is on their website. And then literally my email is Hayley, Hayley at touchbbc.org. If you want us at your event, if you want us to be send materials with the things we can attend, we're happy to do any version of that. If you want anyone to come speak, we do that as well. And yeah, we're here to support the community any way that we can. And if we don't know the answer, we're gonna find it.
Listen, y'all better contact because I think there's a million people that can testify why Touch and Hayley and Miss Ricky have literally been lifesavers. But I am a testament to every time I give a presentation, my source is Touch. Or the times I'm like, Hayley, I got a question, Miss Ricky, I have a question. It, just there's no other words but life saving. So go on their website, go to social media, and I'm telling you, anytime there's been times somebody needed financial touch, somebody need just any information that you can just think of, touch BBCA.
Yeah, no, I think we thank you for that because I do think we like want to be that hub and that reference and again we'll go find it because like I'm over here texting Dr. Mo like you got I sending I'm like I'm, maybe I should say this out loud, but like my friend's getting mammogram, and she like took an illegal picture of it, and I sent the picture to Mo to be like, okay, look at this too, like, we're all trying to figure it out, in ways that like is, legal and safe, but also, um, like we're gonna figure it out, and we're gonna make sure that Black women can see more days, and that is the point.
We're going to end on that. Hayley said we're going to figure it out. Hayley said Touch is going to figure it out, and they will. And because Touch figures it out for Black breast cancer, they will figure it out for all cancers, for all people of all ages. So go on Touch, get the information, spread the word, and like Hayley said, we're going to figure it out.
Awesome. I love it. Thank you for having me. This is great.
I'm so proud of you. That's my girl, y'all. I'm so proud of her. She's amazing. She looks like she's 12. I know when she said 32, y'all said, where?
I
She from her
appreciate it.
mama, because her mama and her sister look good, okay?
Yeah, no, good genes there. We're hoping they come down here. Keep
You
it,
know,
keep it coming, keep it coming.
you have heard Touch Hayley on the Humanitarian Heartbeat Podcast. Remember, Touch Black Breast Cancer Alliance, Touch BBCA website, and Instagram, social media. We love you. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining us on the Humanitarian Heartbeat Podcast. Remember, each conversation brings us closer to a world where compassion thrives. Stay connected, stay informed, and let's keep the heartbeat of humanity alive. Subscribe, share, and be a part of our journey to make a difference, one conversation at a time. Until next time, keep your hearts open, your minds curious, be a blessing to others, and give agape love. God bless.